Today I'm going to talk about the Python's numpy library and making lists, arrays, and matrices. Okay, first of all, start out by, of course I'm using Jupyter Notebook as usual, start out by import numpy as np, standard convention of shortening numpy. And let's make a list. Say my list equals, and again you just use one equal sign instead of two. One equal signs is for setting something equal to something else, whereas two is comparing two things. So let's do 1 comma space 7 comma space 9. Okay, very simple list, all integers, very straightforward. Notice how the list is in square brackets separated by commas. Okay, and of course you can print the list, print my list. Okay, and it prints out the list along with the square brackets and the commas. Then let's make this list into an array. My array equals np, which stands for numpy in this case, np.array, then open parentheses, my list, close parentheses. Okay, and then print. Well, first of all, if you read in a list from somewhere else, or you make an array from something that you don't have direct access to, it's always good to check the shape of the array or the size of the array. And you do that, well, by printing array.shape. Okay. First of all, it prints out the list 1, 7, and 9. My array.shape. It's just 3 items in the array. Okay. Fairly straightforward. Additionally, you can always print out the array. And an array prints out slightly differently than a list. There are no commas in between. That is the convention for Python. Okay. Let's comment these out. And let's make another list. Let's do my list 2. And make that square brackets and then single quotations, Alex, comma, capital T, V, comma, Tom, 45, 77, 99, and cool. And single quotes. Okay. Then oh, I didn't put equals. Okay. There we go. Okay, there's my list 1 and my list 2. Notice how my list 2 has some strings and some integers in it. It's usually not recommended to do that. Makes it a little bit trickier to deal with the data types. You can, but it's usually not recommended to have all those different data types in an array. It's okay, you can handle it, but show you why there may be issues with that. Okay, well, that is a list, not an array. Excuse me. Okay, then we can make that list into an array by saying np.array mylist2. And again, we can print out my array 2. Okay, and again, there is a distinction between a list and an array. An array does not have commas in between the items, you'll notice. Okay. Now we will print out something else that may run into a problem. The first item in the array percentage %d. Percentage my array 2. Item 0. Again, the indexes for an array object start at 0. And the percentage sign switches out for the variable after the percentage sign switches out with the variable after the d, at least in theory. Let's see what happens here. Okay. This is D format. A number is required, not numpy string. Okay. That goes back to the data type issue that I was talking about. That's why it's best to have all numbers or all strings, but not numbers and strings. Okay. Okay. Now, it's interesting, when it prints out the array, it prints everything out as a string, even though these are technically integers. Okay. The reason that this has an issue is because it is not, it's meant for a numeral. numerical object. And if you put %s, then it's a string object that it's looking for, and it should not have a problem. Okay, there. First item in the array, Alex. Yes. Okay. First item in the array. Let's do the okay. Now, fourth item in the array happens to be an integer, so this, I believe, should work. And again, it starts at 0, so the fourth would actually be index 3. Let's see what that does. Okay. It has some issues with that. Okay, I think my array, does that actually do that? Curious. Does that actually make it into an integer? Okay. So learn something else. When you make an array, it automatically converts it to a string, even if it's not a string, apparently. Yeah. Then to convert it back to an integer, you can do integer or you can do float, the float function, and then your array and the index. Okay. Now, there are other things let's try some other things. Okay. Let's make a matrix instead of an array. Matrix is really a list of lists. Okay. That means you put in square brackets and you put in a comma between each list, and you open and close square brackets for each list. Okay, so let's do 9, 22, and 57 for the second one. 34 space 32, 21 for the third one, and another close bracket afterwards to finish up the matrix. Okay. And then, you see, technically, Python doesn't have its own native matrix data class. It's just a list of lists. You can also, so if you print out make this, call it my matrix. Print my matrix. It'll go like that. Okay. And it will enclose all of it within square brackets. Okay. Now, you could also do something interesting in terms of formatting. And it ends up being the same. Okay. This makes it a little bit easier for humans to read as a matrix. And it prints out the same way. And if you want to make that matrix into an array, you can also do that. Okay. Say my array matrix equals np dot array my matrix and print my array matrix. Okay. Now this is a little bit different in terms of what it prints out. In this, it prints out the line breaks. Okay. If it's just acting as a list, it prints out no line breaks, but if it's acting as an array, it does print out the line breaks. Okay, that is the conclusion of the tutorial. It's a very simple one, but you can find it on my GitHub page, and like this video. Thanks.